Hello. I'm gonna jump straight into this idea. I just been watching an interview on Benjamin Boyce channel, the Boys of Reason, I think he calls his podcast, and he's done an interview with Keri Smith, and like I'm quite interested in the whole woke movement, and I'm interested in how it's sort of developed from the secular atheistic community, I would say. Um, like I'm from Sweden, and we've we've separated state and church quite long ago, and what I see has arisen here is sort of the stateism. So instead of the Christian God, we now have the state as God, and so this woke movement is sort of like it has the same structure as any kind of religion, but it's sort of like anti religion, just like being anti racist is the same thing as racist, but the people who spout these dogmatic ideas can't see that they're doing exactly the same thing as the other side. The first thing I like I saw the pattern of this was the anti-fascist movement, which became fascist in its anti-ness, because it's if you take things to the extreme on both sides, they will like eat its own tail, so it will become itself, like the Ouroboros. Just like in this video, they were talking about the Nietzsche quote, like "Be careful fighting monsters that you." I'm butchering it, but be careful when fighting monsters so that you don't become the monster. And that's exactly what happens once you go to the extreme of fighting an idea, because you will take on that idea and become anti the idea, and by becoming anti, you become the idea. So, like with racism, if you fight racism by inverting racism, you're still doing racism, but you think you're doing it like you're opposing it by doing exactly the same, but from the opposite position. And that's sort of like the Bhagavad Gita. It's like you have the main character Arjuna in the middle, and there's this battle going on, and it's like you have to take sides, but it's like both sides are the same. It's non-dual, so everything is. It's a bit. I'll let you ponder it, but what I wrote some words here that I think is relevant to the discussion we're having about this whole movement in our culture. And the first thing is, I'm not sure, I wrote some words here, and it's like translation, when you're doing, like when you're translating a word from one language to another language, what you're doing is interpretation. So you're not, you can't, like in reality, there's no such thing as translation, because you have to interpret every word and put it into a new context of the other culture that has the other language, because language is not detached from culture, and culture is not detached from either the material, the natural world, or the supernatural world, like the world that is above and beyond the sensational world, the world you can sense, the abstract world, the world of concepts, the world of ideas, the world of symbols, the world of religare, like religion, the world of connections. And it's the same dichotomy there. Like the two most extremes are the same. So the most material becomes the most supernatural, and the most supernatural becomes, like, it's this continuous loop. But the so that you can't translate one, like, say in English you have the word love, and then there's all these connections in the culture and ideas and concepts, and like little threads to what that means. And there's a physical kind of love, and then there's like there's higher and higher and higher concepts of love. And then if you were to just translate that word to Swedish, you can and you can't use it in similar terms, because some of the ways that you use it in English, you can't really use it in Swedish, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, I wanted to say, it doesn't matter in like an Alan Wattsian sense. It doesn't compute, because the words evolve naturally, and organically in a culture. They're sort of like opposite of that is when the priests of a religion tries to change the meaning of a word. They try to redefine the word top down and force it upon the people, or it's like 1984, you sort of remove words or you add words to just to like break apart the natural order. So and the same thing is like you can't translate from one religion to another the exact meaning and ideology. Like you can't take the ideology of one thing and like interpret it through another ideology, but that is exactly what this woke movement, this woke religion is doing. It's putting itself at the center of interpretation. It's putting itself on the throne of the Lord. It's making itself untouchable, like the mafioso. It's like because every ideology and every religion and every like structure humanity can create in that sense has to be the Ouroboros, has to be a circular argument. So it has to sort of, there's this saying, give us one miracle and we can explain the rest in science. And this, I think the same goes for every ideology, and the woke movement is like, give us one miracle and we'll explain the rest. And the miracle is sort of like, our ideas can't be questioned by the same mechanisms that we question everything else. So it's like we have the ultimate power. There's nothing above us. We are the highest God. And if you question this, you have committed the ultimate crime. And therefore you need to be executed. And today we don't, well, we do kill people, but it's more of a silencing, deplatforming. We used to take people out into the courts, like not the courts of the law, but the courts of the people, like the squares, the town squares. And we used to behead them to make an example so that other people will not question the highest authority of the religion that is in place now. And then there has to be an overthrowing of that into the next, and it's the same cycle again. So does that make sense? So every time like what they do is they have this, like these glasses, or like the critical theory, or the um, sort of, they use like what I wrote down was they had this overlay, they overlay on everything. And it's like in Swedish we have the word facit, which is like when you do a test and you hand in the test, the teacher has a facit, like a document where all the right answers are, and they check your test and compare it to the answers, and then you get marked by how close you are to the truth, the facit, and you get graded for how close you're telling the truth. And in this ideology, you have the facit, the doctrine, the correct way to view the world, and you can sort of use the glasses analogy, and so you put on these glasses where you see everything the correct way. So you go out and you look, and there's a guy talking to a girl, and the correct way to view that is that he's oppressing her. So even if she's yelling at him, if she's, whatever she does, it doesn't matter. Well, in a way it matters, but it only matters once you interpret and translate it into the language of wokeness. So if she hits him, he must have done something wrong. If he hits her, he's abusing her. So if she hits him, it's defense, because she's the victim and he's the oppressor. And if he hits her, he's using his power, he's using his oppressing. And the context is interpreted through the lens, through the dogma, through the ideology, to be seen, to be correctly seen. So this is like a layover or overlay onto everything, because if it's not God who's doing the interpretation. And I heard yesterday, I saw another video about a guy who was talking about Islam and how he had a friend who went, like he and his friend both live in Sweden, but his friend went back. I can't remember what country he went back to, but he messaged him and told him, like, it's true what you're saying. Every single sentence that comes out of people's mouths are like are he didn't say this, but this is sort of how I interpreted it. So he was saying every single thing that comes out of people's mouths are filtered through Islam, through the words of God that's written into this book, that is the doctrine that you must follow in every single second of your life. And today we have these woke people who are writing the new commandments of the new religion of woke. And it's the same thing. You have to wash yourself with this new way of thinking. You have to wash your brain so that it will automatically see everything through the lens of this woke religion. I had a thought, but it escaped me. Well, I have several thoughts, but this one felt like it wanted to jump in there. What was I saying? It's like brainwashing. And yeah, I mean, I think, because a lot of people have, well, not a lot of people, but I've heard this idea that like humans need this religion or ideology. We need it to be able to construct and create a culture and a civilization. So if you, it's like this, like the greatest con the devil ever like successfully pulled off was to claim that he doesn't exist. And that's sort of how I see the atheist woke movement. They're saying like religion is for the past. We're progressives. We're better. We're higher. We're smarter. We're more intelligent. We're above this notion of God. Like we're above God. So it's in the structure of their religion to denounce religion. So it's like the devil is saying, I doesn't exist. And when people believe he doesn't exist, he can run rampant with his destruction and with his ideology. I guess that's it for this first video of this channel. See ya. Second video. Bye.